Welcome to Ask Giri the Physio Show, episode 17. And today we're going to talk about part 3 of the core Slings series. If you haven't watched part 1 and part 2, please click the link below to watch that first. So we discussed all the 4 slings and what are the muscles and fascia and the ligaments involved in those slings and how they affect human function and athletic performance and how to identify the weakness and how to do exercise progression for those slings. That's done. Now today in the part 3, we're going to talk about again why sling is important for athletic performance and how it gets affected in pregnancy and how a pregnant woman can take care of herself by working on these slings. So that's the objective of today's presentation. Okay, athletic performance. So as we talked about, the anterior oblique sling is very important for any kind of throwing movement or any kind of running or even swinging the bat or a golf club. It's all working in here, anterior oblique sling. So for baseball players, you can pitch really hard, you can throw hard from the deep, and also you can hit really hard. So that's very important for the baseball players. And for volleyball players, again, you can increase arm speed, right? When you're jumping and training, the arm speed, it comes from all the anterior oblique sling, right? The arm speed for punching ball and also hit the ball very hard. So for volleyball players, it can be done that way. And then for quarterbacks, you're playing football and you're throwing a lot of things. So you're throwing power and you're throwing long distance and also the accuracy of the throw. So that's all coming from your anterior and posterior sling combination and also your deep longitudinal things. And if you're a basketball player, you're doing a lot of vertical jumps and also helps in volleyball as well. Your deep longitudinal sling is very important to create that ground reaction force, the vertical transmission force from the ground up to give you that jump height. So that's very important. And boxes, very important for boxes. It's all about the knockout power, right? So you swing back and you punch, and the punch, the rotational force is all coming from your anterior sling. So that's very important. And also the posterior sling has to stabilize the other leg, and lateral sling has to stabilize your hip. So slings doesn't work alone. They work together, okay? And also they also try to compensate for each other. You have to understand that. If one sling is weak, the other sling try to overwork, and you pay for it. When the other sling overworks, you're going to have more compression forces through that line, and you're going to have more issues in the ligaments and the muscles and the joints. So that is why when we assess, we don't just assess muscles, we assess movement patterns, we assess slings so that we can identify where is the problem and then work on it, right? So as I said, in the deep longitudinal sling, for example, your neck is connected to your feet, right? If you have a lot of neck and upper back pain, and we have to check the whole thing, bumper to bumper assessment. You have to check your feet. How's your feet positioned? If it's pronated or supinated, or if it is too big an arch, flat foot, or it's not working properly, if you have weakness, ankle stability is not great, you have to check that because it's connected. So you have to understand the importance of regional interdependence of your body. That's very, very important. And coming back to athletic performance, tennis players too. Like tennis players, you're going for the serve, the long serve here, and also for your forehand or your backhand, and also lateral shifts, and also the strokes. Very important these slings are. So you can really identify how in each and every sport the sling mechanisms works for you. If you want to check the strength of the lateral sling muscles, you can easily check on the sideline. So now I'm going to first check the short lever up. No, not in the front, you got to be in the side. Up there you go. So now let her be here, not letting her to rotate. Yeah, and I'm going to check how strong she is there. She's strong, let's check the long lever. Good. She's pretty strong, make sure she's not flexing or rotating. Make sure she's neutral. Good, strong kind of string in here. Very good. Relax there. Okay, that's it. That's how you check how strong is your lateral sling is. So the muscles of the lateral sling are opposite quadratus lumborum. And this side, you can do your gluteus medius and your tensor fasciolata, iliotibial band, all the way down. That's kind of your lateral sling right here. And a lot of people may not even talk about the quadratus lumborum on this side. They mainly talk about the gluteus medius, TFL, iliotibial band on this side, which is there. Okay. This group of muscles is very important for hip stability. Can you turn around, Kayla? Can you put your hands on the waist? And can you bring your right leg up 90 degrees? So now I'm checking her how stable her left hip is. See, no shaking, no dropping, it's pretty solid. So we know that Kayla is having a very strong lateral sling on the left side. Now let's check the right side. Pretty good. A very tiny little shaky, but otherwise it's pretty good in there too. The lateral slings on both sides are pretty good. This is how you check how strong is your lateral sling is. So exercise progression for the lateral sling. If you're really weak, you're gonna start from that side lying position. You're gonna start with some clamshell. So she's with the hip flexed and knee flexed and foot on foot, and she's gonna just open up and then hold it there, right? So you're working on that lateral sling right here. This is the simplest way to do it. Go back down there, one more time. Into about 8 reps, couple of sets. Once you get better at this, if it is too easy for you, you can always add resistance to it. I'm gonna put a loop for her. There you go. So same position. Now she's gonna go against the resistance. And make sure they don't rotate the pelvis backwards. That's very important. I usually ask the patients to hold here so that they don't rotate the pelvis back. Wonderful. Nice breathing. Great. That's nice. So then once that's okay and that's too easy, then we can go progress to the next level just using leg weight itself. Bring it up straight up. Good. And hold it there and then down. You try again. You do that. And then if you want to modify a little bit there, can you bring your arm forward there? That one, the bottom one. Yeah, kind of go like this. Good. And then this one here. Then I would like you to come back and up. Oh yeah. And then go forward. Bend your knee and go forward. There you go. And then come back. It's a movement based. Yeah, there you go. Can you try that? Good. A movement based work in there. There you go. Beautiful. Again. So these are things you can do in lying on the ground for strengthening the lateral sling. In standing, you can do some side stepping to strengthen the lateral slings. Yeah. You can do it on your stairs. Good. And make sure you do it on both sides. Good. And then you also can do a hip hike. Go on that. And then kind of drop that and hike it. There you go. Don't use your QL that much. A little bit. Yeah, there you go. She's using the whole lateral system here. Good. Thank you. So these are things you can do. Again, for also box step-ups also helps with the lateral sling also. When you go even a natural, regular box step-ups. Yeah. Yeah, there you go. So, and without that other foot coming in contact. So you go up and yeah. You can also do this for your lateral sling to maintain the stability of the hip. The sling has to come in contact. You can increase the height of the boxes as much as you want. Then you can load your arms. You can have a kettlebell or a dumbbell when you're doing the box step-ups also. And as we discussed before, stair climbing. With the weight on one side, you can go stair climbing forward and the sideways. You can do both ways for your lateral sling strengthening. So these are the things you can do to strengthen your lateral sling. Next, we're going to talk about how the sling mechanisms helps with athletic performances and also why it is important during pregnancy and childbirth. So when the center of gravity moves forward, and what happens, it puts more compression into your SI joint. So that causes a lot of hardening and the stiffness in the SI joint. So that condition is called osteosis condensana ilium, right? So ilium is the bone there, right? And so it gets inflammation in that area. So that can be very painful when you sit to stand. When you stand, they can't stand longer. They cannot especially do a single leg stance, no way. And then walking also gets very painful. And they create a lot of compensatory patterns into that, getting into a lot of pain in the hips, in the lower back, in the knees, in the ankle. Plus some pregnant females also have swelling in the legs. All these complicate issues quite a bit. Okay, this affects the way the pelvis moves, because when you walk, your pelvis has to move, right? If you're taking your right leg forward, your right pelvis has to move this way, and the left has to go backward, and your sacrum has to go that way, rotate to the right, and for the sacrum to rotate to the right, and this has to move properly, and the ligaments has to be in proper intact, and when the sacrum moves this way, your lumbar spine rotates the other way. So all this mechanics happening every step you take. If this mechanics messes up, you're going to create more shear forces and cause a lot of lower back pain and the SI joint instability and pain. So that's why it's very, very important for the pregnant women to understand this mechanics, to work with the pelvic floor physiotherapist and also a good orthopedic physical therapist to identify these factors and correct and make sure the slings are working okay, the center of gravity is proper, and also how we can compensate without giving a lot of pain. So this picture is about nutation and counter nutation. So I told you, right, your sacrum has to nutate and counter nutate during that childbirth as well, and during the movements of your pelvis and the hips as well. So small example here for you to understand what are the different muscles work during the nutation. So when your sacrum goes forward, you can see the rectus femoris, which is one of your quadriceps muscle, has to work this way, and the muscles in the back of your rectus spinae, which is a part of your deep longitudinal system, has to bring it forward there, and your iliopsoas in the front has to work. They all coordinate. As I said before, muscle work in slings, they don't work alone. Okay, movement patterns, always remember that. So that's how the nutation works, all those muscles involved in that. And counter nutation for the sacrum to go back, you can see how the rectus abdominis, your abdominal muscles, has to pull it up this way, which is a part of your anterior oblique sling also. And you see your gluteus maximus in the back, which is part of your posterior oblique sling, and also your hamstring muscles, which your biceps femoris is your part of your deep longitudinal sling. See how these slings work together, yeah? Anterior oblique sling, and you got your posterior oblique sling and the deep longitudinal sling working to get that counter nutation properly in your sacrum, which is your tailbone area. Just to give you an idea how the slings work together to give you that nutation, counter nutation, important during pregnancy and the childbirth. Hope this gives you a little idea about the reasons and the importance of the slings and the reasons why you may get some pelvic pain, your lower back pain, and the hip joint pain and SI joint pain during pregnancy. Okay, and also I want you to understand the myofascial meridians. They are a little bit different than the slings we talked about. Again, if you haven't watched part 1 and part 2 of this course slings, please click the link below and you can watch it, right? So myofascial meridians are a little bit different. We are not talking about that. It also does the same thing, but it's a little bit more facial connections in there. So that's a little bit different. So don't confuse yourself with the slings we talked about and the myofascial meridians. That's a different topic for another day. So hope you got some useful information from this Core Sling series, part 1, part 2, part 3, and I want you to watch all of them so you understand and you can learn some new exercises to work with it. If you like this, if you think it's helpful, please like and subscribe and share with your friends and family so that they can also get benefit out of this. But always remember, all these exercises are for a healthy adult. So if you have problems, please consult your physiotherapist or physician first before you start doing any of these exercises. And if you have pain, stop it, consult your physician or physiotherapist and to do it the right way. Okay, until I see you next time, bye.